Hello and welcome to Amethyst Star Crafting. My name is Jane Allmark and I'm a UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And anything you see during the video that you want to buy, there will be a link down below and you can buy it through myself. So today we're looking at Rainbow of Happiness, which is a stamp set in the new January to June mini catalogue. And Friendly Hello, which is a celebration which you can only earn with a qualifying order. And we're going to amalgamate both of them to make a pretty card. So I'm using, colour-wise, we're using a base of garden green with a white, basic white piece, which is 1/4 of an inch smaller. Whatever sizes you use wherever you are, you can make it bigger, you can make it smaller, however you want to. And then colours we're going to be using Highland Heather, Bumblebee, Granny Apple Green and Coastal Cabana. So not traditional colours, but colours that I think will work quite well with the two stamp sets. So to start off with, I'm going to take the Friendly Hello, and we have got the flower piece on, and we are going to, let me just make sure that I've got that, the larger one there, the smaller one there, that's the way I want it. So I'm going to do this in Memento. So I'm just inking this up in the Memento, and then we are going to stamp this right down at the bottom, and we're going to do one, and then we're going to do another one next to it, because I think these flowers are really rather lovely. So we're going to take the next one, and that can come in just next to it, down on the bottom like that. Okay, so those are the floral elements that we're doing at the moment. We might do a few other little leaves and things like that in, but we're starting off with this because this is the easiest way of doing it. Okay, so we're now going to take the rainbow, but we want the rainbow to be tucked behind. So I have just done two very simple masks. A mask is where you literally just stamp out the image onto some copy paper or something fairly thin, and then you cut round it. So I need two. I knew that I didn't. One I've cut out completely, the other one I haven't, because to be quite honest, I only need the little top part in. So I'm putting it in, and I'm making sure that it comes just inside. If you do it so that it comes just to the top, you will then end up with a halo effect on it. And we don't want a halo effect, so we're just going to do it and bring it down just a tad so that we have our images just slightly below, so that when we put the rainbow in over the top, it's going to come in quite nicely. So I am going to, with the rainbow, I'm going to use all four of the rainbow's really lovely because it's a builder. You can put sending you a rainbow of happiness. You can put these lines, so you can build things up, which is rather fun. But for this occasion, we're literally just going to take the 4 pieces of the rainbow and have them as they are. So I'm getting them all out first, because when you pull them out of the case, you want to let them relax, because they're an oval shape. If you don't let them relax enough, what will happen is that your pieces will be slightly out of shape. So if I take this first piece and I put it down, and what I need to do is literally allow it to relax. If I do sort of this with it or this with it, you can get it out of shape. So always allow it to relax quite nicely. And I think I need a slightly bigger block for this first one. So I'm just going to put this in over the top, pick it up nicely. And then I'm going to use my first colour, which is going to be the Highland Heather. So I need to ink it up first. And because it's a solid image, just make sure that you're inking it evenly across. It's very easy to, you know, get a line or something like that on it, which you don't want. Now what we need to do is, because this is now slipped a little bit, you can put some tape on it if you want to. I don't think I need to do that. I'm just literally putting it down a little bit because I don't want the side pieces to come in. And I'm going to put the rainbow in so that the bottom piece just comes in underneath. So it's sitting underneath this piece on here. So I'm putting this down first, giving it a rub, holding on to the pieces that I've got at the bottom, and that is our first one. So that's in the Highland Heather. The next we're going to do is the Bumblebee, and I've chosen colours that are fairly subtle, but are also just pretty, that go together. I don't know quite how to describe them in any other way. They just go beautifully together. Now I just need to let that relax a little bit on here because I want to try and get the, that's better. The bottom piece is fairly even. So this time we're going to do the Bumblebee. And we're going to put that one in as the centre. So again, just inking it up. And because we can't see the bottom as clearly, we're going to do it from the top. Now I'm going to have to move this down just a little bit because I can't see over the top because of my camera. So hopefully it's not going to come too far down for you. But what I need to do is I want to have this so it's coming in just in on the top like that. And again, I'm holding on to the bottom part. So that's my Bumblebee. And I can then clean that off. As I say, when you're doing it, you're going to be looking directly on. I'm looking at an angle because my camera's above me. So it doesn't always come out completely straight. So let me get the next one in, just pick that one up. And this one is going to be with the Granny Apple Green. So we're going to pick this up. And again, just make sure that it's all covered in. Make sure that this bit is just in where we want it. So that's just slid a little bit. I can just put it in on here. Say your mask will last you a good few goes. So, you know, don't be sort of overly worried about them. And then let's, whoops, just pick those ones up. Pick that one up, and we want this one to come in just in underneath like this. And then we're going to have the last one is going to be the blue. So I'm doing that in the Coastal Cabana because I want that sort of pale look about it. So let's take this one off, and then we've just got our little tiny one to go. And that one's going to be in the Coastal Cabana. And then I can just make sure that I've got this just in underneath on there. Take this last one, and that's going to come in like that. Okay, we nearly threw that about. So if I then take the mask off, you've then got the rainbow behind, and you've got the flowers and things in front. So that's given us our sort of base to work with. I'm now going to put these pieces back in on their case so that I don't lose any of them. And I've got that one in on there, that one in on, oops, like pieces of spaghetti. I'm just trying to, and they do stick together a little bit because they're, oh, that one needs to come in there, that one in on there. There we go. Okay, so that is all I'm using out of this set. We're now going to go into this one, and I can now add some little pieces on here to just sort of build it up. So we're going to have, I like this greenery on here, so we're going to have a couple of these green ones. Oops. And we're going to have, what other pieces? We've got these nice sort of swirly pieces that I quite like. So these are little bigger ones, so we'll have those. And we might have some leaves. Let's have a look at the leaves and see. We'll just have a couple of the leaves. I think we'll have this one, and we'll have that's a larger one as well, isn't it? I think the larger leaves on here will work better. Maybe a little leaf as well. So let's take a large one and a small one. Okay, so now we have got our colour base as well. We want to be colouring things in the same sort of vein. So this is going to be in on, have a look on here, that'll work. So I'm going to do some of these little leaves in green and in, where are the colours that I've got? We've got purple, we've got yellow, we've got green. So I'm going to put this sort of spriggy thing in I think I might do it in the Bumblebee. Put these little pieces over here so I don't lose them. So I'm going to have one of these in Bumblebee, and these are quite good because you can literally just poke them in over the top, so you don't need to mask this. You can just see exactly where they go. So I'm just going to have that in on there. Don't think I need much more than that, unless I build it up. We'll see. We'll see. So that's that one. I want to have these little green leaves in. So these are going to be done in the Granny Apple Green. And we've got to work out what I think my flowers are going to be in, coloured in the, Highland Heather. So I'm going to have another little leaf can come up in on this one like that. Then we've got the little one. So let's put this one in, which is the little one. I do love these because they just build up so beautifully. So we need to put some of these sort of in down on here. That can go there. That can go there. So we're only going to get little bits of them showing, but that's perfect. We don't need to have too much on show. Have a look like that. That I think is going to be fine because I do want to have some of this one, which are these lovely sort of sprigs in, and they're going to be in, I think I'm going to have those in the blue. So let's pop some of these in because these come out quite nicely. and I'm just going to take that one up in over the top of there, and maybe in just in on the side of there, and pop one down there, and I might need to do the smaller one actually, because there's not a huge amount of space on there, so there's a little tiny one here, so we'll try that one because I think that might work better, because it needs to be a little tiny space, but I am still doing it with the Coastal Cabana. So let's just pop little one in like that, little one in on the side of there, and maybe just one sticking out from there. Okay, so that's sort of given a little bit more sort of colouring in on there. Then I am going to, these flowers, what I want to do is I could use blends, which will make them quite bright, but I haven't got all of those complete colours. But I have got the Highland Heather, so bear with me a second while I find the Highland Heather. So that's the Highland Heather Light, that's the Highland Heather Dark, so we want those in there, and then I need to have just a yellow for the centre, so I might have one just out on here still. Here we go, that will do. It's not quite Bumblebee, but I think it'll work. So with these we are literally just going to, hopefully quite quickly, just colour these in. The Highland Heather is starting to run out. Let's see if I can get the other end out, because that might work better. There we go. So we're literally just colouring in the flowers. And as I say, I'm afraid this one is starting to run out, but it's really rather nice. So I'm actually going to, because this one's starting to run out, I'm just going to do the edges of them, and then the other part is going to be in the light, and hopefully in the dark rather. So I'm just doing the tips of these flowers in here, so just the little tips. Now obviously you could, instead of masking it, you could take the image and just cut them out with scissors, and then have them, you know, dimensionals on top to give them a layer. What I wanted to sort of demonstrate was that you can do, so again, if you're posting and are concerned about your postage, so don't want dimensionals on, which is I always sort of saying, I sometimes you have to be a little bit careful with that, then it is one of those things that if you do a single layer card, it works a lot better, because it's a flat postage. So to excuse the squeaking of this, as I say, I'm literally on the last legs of this one. So there we go. Right, so that's that. And then I'm going to take the dark, and hopefully I've got more of the dark than I have of the light. I think I probably have. And I'm going to try and do it with the wider brush, because then it won't take quite as long. So I'm just going to take up from here. And this is going to come all the way up, apart from just on the tips at the top. So you can see where I've got this in on here, and you can see that the dark is actually nearer to the Highland Heather when you're stamping it. So you want the colour to be as near to it as you can. So I'm literally just taking it in. I need to do it a little bit more carefully than I'm doing it around that flower. But like everything, I'm giving it to you as an example. It's down to you to then spend a little bit more time than I do. I try and do it so it doesn't take forever with the colouring. So I am doing it quickly, but also as well, people who aren't colourists can see that you don't have to spend a huge amount of time. You can do it quite quickly. So I'm just turning it round as I go. And I am going to try and do a little bit of blending with this other one. I'm not sure how it's going to work out, because it might not work out at all. But you do find with alcohol markers that as the alcohol evaporates, the colour goes paler. It's a bit like when you're, you know, emulsioning your walls at home or decorating. The paint that you put on to start off with, quite often you go, oh my goodness, that's way too dark. But once it's dried, it dries lighter. Or sometimes it's the opposite, it dries darker, but normally it dries a lot lighter, and you get the colour that you got on your swatches and things and think is perfect is the colour it is. It just needs time to dry. Well, it's very much the same with alcohol markers. You know, you do need that little bit of time for them to dry to get the colour more accurate. So I'm just taking this down on here, and then I am going to just take this and give a little bit, with a bit of luck, just a little bit of blending. If we've got anything in on here, we should be able to just give a little bit just in on here, which will work. If you leave it with little pieces of white in, it looks a little bit more sort of watercolour and abstract. So I'm quite happy with that. I am going to put this in the centre, which is about as near to Bumblebee as I can get, because I haven't got, oh actually it's Daffodil Delight, so I think again this is nearly running out. But if you just give it a circle bit, and you can have it so that it blends through a little bit on the outside of there, then that works quite nicely on there. Now we could, I'm not going to build up any more of the leaves and things. I think that looks quite pretty. What I do need to do is to put a sentiment on. Now, my absolute favourite sentiment on here, I think, is going to be too big. I was going to try and put, oh, actually, because it's going over, I am going to do it with this. This is it's a large sentiment, but I really like the hello friend in here. So we're going to have a go with doing this. And let me just pick it up with a block like that. And I'm going to do it in black because we've got the black on the image there. So just get my memento out. So as I say, this is all a one layer card. It's all done with just 2 stamp sets, one which you can get for free. And we are going to put this in across on the top here. Just like that. Just let it to rest because it's quite a large one. Pick it up, and then you've got your hello friend here, which comes across and works perfectly because the colours we've chosen are subtle enough. So you've got the wording coming over the top, you've got the flowers coming over the top as well. Then we just need our matte in, which picks up the green that we've got. And you've then got a rather fun 1 layer card with the flowers, with the rainbows, which I think just makes it a fun card, but very simple to achieve and do. And all you're doing is stamps and a little bit of colouring. So thank you so much for watching me. As always, please stay safe and well. Please be kind. Look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye.